while I want people to be able to use the water that they have out of their spigot because it's a right. Water should be a right. During the height of the crisis, you were sending water everywhere. You were there in the trenches, making sure Jackson, Mississippians had water. How are you able to do this, Lee Coffey?
Uh, First of all, I partnered up with a black-owned water company, also named 1186 Water. Once we went into partnership, the first thing that they told me was, we got an unlimited supply of water. So if it never rains again after today, we got enough water to last the world for another 136 years with no electricity. So, with that being in hand and the need for Jackson needed water, I knew it was bigger than me. I knew that people needed water and we had much water they could use. So, I did everything in my power to try to help, donate, give, whatever the case may be. If they needed water, I just tried to be hands-on and on the scene to help.
Lee, are you from the Jackson area? I mean, how did you get involved in this?
I'm actually originally maybe from 20 miles outside of Jackson, from a small town called Holmes County, Mississippi, and I have a lot of grandmothers and aunties that's in hospitals in Jackson. So I knew the need, when my aunties need medication, newborns, baby need water, to take their medicine or whatnot. So I knew the need was bigger than me, and just being it in general, black-owned state like this, like I said, it was just bigger than me. It wasn't nothing that I could do. It just was something God put on my heart. I was raised that way to help somebody if they was in need, because the tables could have been turned around and it could have been me and my family. So I did everything I could to help.
Now, physically, to own a bottled water company, what did that take? What does that require? How did you start your company?
Oh, that's a good question. I started, a lot of people don't know, I was touring doing music before I got into the water. And one day I walked on stage to do like one of the biggest shows of my career, and my lung collapsed right when I got ready to perform. And I almost died, not knowing my lungs collapsed. I was still trying to go on with the show. And after they rushed me into the hospital and the doctors told me the situation, I just, like, they basically told me, Mr. Coffey, if you go to sleep tonight, you won't never wake up again. So, with all of that going on in my head, me being by myself so far away from home, I just was praying, like, God, I'm here for some reason. Like, I don't want to die. I just prayed my heart out. Like, if I just get another chance, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to help people, whatever I can do. I'm going to tell my story. And that was my promise to God. And once I left the hospital, everything worked out in my favor. The doctors didn't know what happened. Like, to this day, they still don't know what happened, what caused it. They just know that I was alive. They let me go. So, after going through all of that, I started watching my health, and I met a pastor who kept saying, I want to teach you about water. I want to give you the information that I learned. And not only that, he said, man, I prayed about this. I asked God what we should name the water. And he said, man, God said we told up the chapters of the Bible, and we're going to name the water 1186. So that's how we come up with the name. That's when you told all the chapters up in the Bible. So it said, what better gift to give man than pure water, what God already gave them? So he said, man, I like you. I'm going to teach you everything I know. Take this water with you, and everywhere you go, the water will flow. So after he mentored me and kept teaching me, I just started taking the water everywhere I went. I knew a lot of celebrities from being on tour. So I started, going to places where people needed the water. I took a lot of giving out a lot of water because a lot of people thought water was the same. So maybe my first year of trying to run a business, I gave away mostly all the water just so people can understand what real water should taste like.
So where's the source? I got it.
I was just going to say, you call it, is it artesian water? Is
yes,
that what?
Ma'am.
And are you saying there's a difference between that and regular water? And what is it? What is the difference?
Yes, regular water, basically the same water. It's tap water. That's all it is. Regular water, basically tap water. If you go to the stores and you see a bottle of water that said purified, reverse osmosis, the only thing that means is that they took the same water that you had and they reversed it. They took all of the chemicals out of that water. Now they went back and added the chemicals that they know that you would like. So have it like some people would drink some water and it have a salt taste. It'll make you thirsty. that's where they want you to keep buying water. You know, what business that don't want their customers to come back? So, you know, that's and a lot of people big on spring water. And I have to tell people spring water is good, but when you go to sleep at night, it's an open spring. Anything can drink out of the water, the birds, the dog, animals. So who's to say that your water isn't contaminated if you're not seeing it directly come from the source of being bottled? So, you know, after I started getting into it, I started learning, okay, it's nobody of our color that can teach me about water. Everybody who owns water is of a different race. And if you take this water away, everything gonna die. So they just started opening my eyes and educating me, and I started digging deeper. And like I said, artesian water is one of the best waters to me. It is. Besides coconut water, I think artesian water is the best. Our water, like I said, free flow to the top of the ground with no electricity. It already been purified from the limestones and the sand that it been sitting on for thousands of years. So when you drink our water, like you the first person to drink it in a lot of thousands of years, way before the Mississippi River was here.
So how do you gather the water? How do you get this water? We're talking with Lee Coffey. He's the owner of MSM Distribution. We're talking about 1186 MSM. You can follow them there at 11 spelled out, 86 numbers, MSM. How do you extract the water to put it in the bottles?
Again, it's free flow. Like if you can, everywhere we go on this earth, it's we on the body of water. You know how they drill oil and oil rise, the pressure make the oil rise to the top of the ground? Our water does the same thing. If you can touch an aquifer in the right position and hit it the right way, the water will free flow to the top of the ground with no machine necessary. So besides that, for us to bottle that, you know, we needed the FDA approval. We needed a stainless steel pump that we had to get did. So that's mainly how we get it out, because we do our own bottle. We blow our bottles, fill our bottles, do our own labeling. Everything is did in-house. Wow. So you don't about dust being in the bottles or them sitting up in this warehouse. No, everything they did from one warehouse from us straight to you.
Ooh, you know,
I don't think I've ever thought much about water before. And we had a Bray on earlier. And now we're talking to you, Lee. And water after this day to me seems sacred, and clean water and fresh water. And, you know, that's what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And listening to your passion, it just feels like it's sacred to you.
I mean, I look at it like this. God don't make nothing bad. Water should have no ingredients. So if you got a bottle and your bottle say ingredients, it been added some additives, preservatives to it, that ain't real water. They just selling you the same thing that you have in your house with a label on it, and they making money off of it. Wow. Because if you know that water is one subject in school that they never saw that down and educated us about. You know, they'll teach you about growing stuff, but water, that was one subject they never just really taught us about. At least not in my school.
Like air is the only other thing we need to survive. You know, we can go without food for a long time, but we cannot go without water or air for more than a day. Air for more than, I don't know how many people can hold their breaths longer than 2 or 3 minutes. That said, we're talking with Lee Coffey. So we can go to 1186water.com and order. Y'all can order cases. You can order several cases, up to 4 cases. So how does that, you know, because I struggle right now with the plastics, right? With the plastics leaching. So I'm now doing metal, glass. I'm not, not doing plastic. Talk about the travel of your water across the country. If I live in Jersey and I go on the website and the water comes from Alabama. So walk us through, Lee.
They basically can go to the website. Like I said, we do ship everywhere globally. Not only do we send, cases, they can order pallets as well as semi trucks, whatever the need be. I don't think it's an order too big that we can't fulfill. But most of the people follow us on social media, or some can call us, whatever the need may be. Before I get into any more, I also want to say I would like to send, you and your staff a couple of cases from us, because I thank y'all for bringing me on to share my story, and I also want y'all to be able to try, the benefits of the water also.
Oh, I already got my cases. Like, I never will allow a guest to send us things. I want to buy it. I want to see what it's like myself. I want to see the whole process. So everybody, when you hear somebody come on the show, I've clicked on it. I've got it in the cart. When I get off, I'll give my credit card, because I want to see for myself, how things run, and I want to see for myself how it tastes. Your proudest part about being a proprietor of water, Lee Coffey, what because I feel the joy that you have. Give us a story that really encapsulates what this is for you.
That's a good question. I'm trying to see what I think. Me looking at my backstory, me knowing where I come from laying on the hospital bed and they saying I'm about to die, to me to move over 1 million cases with my 2 hands, for not having like no big government contracts, to having the right money, just had to use the resources that I had. I think overcoming everything they said, and to be able to stand on the field with Dion, with Jackson State, with their water was probably the best thing that could have happened to me.
Wow.
Like, they were my moment, to stand there and see 60,000 people of our culture, cheering, and they still root me on with the water. Let me come to the schools and promote it, not only with Dion will help him promote it on his social media. So, I mean, there was something that I couldn't ask for, that it just was a blessing.
Coach Prime, he left Jackson now. He's not at Jackson State anymore. How you feel about that, Lee Coffey?
I mean, any progress is better than none. That's how I look at it. I feel like if you ain't growing, you down. So, I feel like anything God got his hands on, you're going to keep growing. So I'm glad. I hate he left, but I'm glad to see him still growing. Like I said, I know I have close contact with his kids where we touch bases. So, I try to keep them with the water, but I love it. Like I said, just to see a figure, a Black man, his culture, just to educate other people. Like, I love it. I'm going to be rooting for him wherever he go.